Okay, this is Old Testament prophecies by Jesus Christ, fulfilled by Jesus Christ. And this will be Old Testament prophecy number 2. And you get to read along at home as we read along here. So we're going to Old Testament prophecy number 2. And where'd that bad boy go? There it is, by golly. Okay. Old Testament prophecy number 2, Genesis 5:24. The bodily ascension to heaven foreshadowed. So this is Enoch foreshadowing Christ's bodily resurrection. So Genesis 5:24, Old Testament prophecy number 2. Quote, "And Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him." Genesis 5:24, before 3000 BC. And the New Testament fulfillment would be in Hebrews 11:5 and Mark 16:19. Hebrews 11:5 says, "By faith Enoch was taken up so that he should not see death. And he was not found because God took him up. For he obtained the witness that before his being taken up, he was pleasing to God," like very pleasing to God. That's Hebrews 11:5, 68 AD. 68. And Mark 16:19, other New Testament fulfillment verse. Quote, "So then when the Lord Jesus had spoken to them, he was received up into heaven and sat down at the right hand of God." Mark 16:19, 30 AD. Now under our topic and comments. So the bodily ascension to heaven foreshadowed. In Genesis 5:24, you have the Old Testament prophecy foreshadowing Christ's bodily resurrection in Mark 16:19, which his resurrection would take place about 3,000 years later. And the phrase Enoch walked with the God, more literally, is a common expression in Eastern countries showing a regular course of someone's life. The original Hebrew adds the definite article the before God in verse 24. So that may show that idolatry was rising in the area. You know, people worshiping multiple gods, or the god of dirt, or the god of pineapple, or something weird, or the god of wood, clay, stubble, yada yada. So that may show that idolatry was rising. But Enoch was like a wonderful guy like Job. He chose to live in close observance of God's laws. So he just did everything God said. So Enoch's daily goal was to please God in all matters, like Hebrews 11:5. So a similar ascension took place with the Old Testament prophet Elijah in 2 Kings 2:11. So the second part of the verse, "and he was not, for God took him," of Genesis 5:24, means that Enoch was translated or taken up into heaven, which is a powerful Old Testament miracle of God displayed for humanity. I mean, just take someone up into heaven. In the New Testament, in Hebrews 11:5, talking of Enoch, it says that, "For he obtained the witness that before his being taken up, he was pleasing to God." So just as Enoch pleased God and was rewarded, Jesus Christ also, or more so, pleased God, and his body was taken up. So his body ascended via God's omnipotent power to spend eternity with God in heaven, aka with God in glory, heaven, or paradise. So that concludes today's Messianic prophecy, Old Testament prophecy number 2, Genesis 5:24, the bodily ascension to heaven foreshadowed. And I'll read that one more time. Genesis 5:24, "And Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him." So have a good day, eat your veggies, and take care.